Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with the Imperial Destroyer mod. First of all, I want to talk about the fact that my units are numbered 132 because I've had so many people talk or really wanting me to explain how that comes, because that's not part of the mod, and most of the time I've just answered, well, it's very simple. You edit your preference script, I believe it is, and all you have to do is change a 1 to a 2 behind in that file, and you can easily Google the solution. But I had someone yesterday that I was talking to, and I just, because it was like the 6th or maybe even the 8th time, and I think I've even already had explained it in the not the video, but in the comments in the video. Or I know there's one video where I explained it 3 times to 3 different people and on the same video, so that was kind of annoying. But it's really simple. It's super simple. Google it. There's multiple ones on YouTube explaining how to do it. It's really simple. All you don't need to download anything. You just edit the script. I think it's called campaign multiplier or something, and you just change the number coming behind that from a 1 to a 2, doubling the size, so it goes from 160 to 320, and voila, it's done. And I can't really understand why so many people have problem with understanding that, the very simple, maybe I should Google it, or maybe I should see if he's already answered that question somewhere else. But I guess it's really down to, I imagine that it might be younger people, and I probably should have a little bit more patience with them, that they don't really understand. But with that said, it's time for part 2 of my campaign to destroy Poland. So last time around we had the main army, which I like to call the King's Army, because it has all the sort of special units put into one. And that one had a battle there which we were able to destroy the enemy, even though the enemy was trying to avoid us as much as possible, to the point where they decided to give up very favorable ground. And when they finally decided to attack me, they sent in their horsemen first, so they lost their capabilities to quick move around my flanks and so forth. Then they sent in the best unit, the guards, on their own, got slaughtered. And then after that, in a rabble, the rest of the army comes. I mean, the general, I'm pretty sure, died pretty early on as well in a failed cavalry charge against one of my units, more annoying than anything else. And he got destroyed. And yeah, we were able to destroy the enemy force that way. With that said, I mean, it's not really unlike, I mean, if you've seen, what's it called? I can't remember which one it is. Animated history or something. I can't exactly recall what it's called, but they do like a video series on the Great Northern War, and the main theme, while Sweden is fighting, or in the beginning of it, the main theme of it is just you put the most sort of worst odds against Sweden in all these different battles, and somehow the Swedes just managed to push through, and they, especially the Polish in the beginning, just falter every bloody time and get destroyed, and so forth. It's a very interesting video. I probably should see what video it actually is. But before now, I've talked way too much. We want a battle, don't we? This army will move into quarters into Warsaw, while this one under Böril Bengtström is, I could see, is a Swedish name. Böril, however, I don't know. Somehow a lot of these, I don't know, maybe they were called this back in the day, but a lot of these names for the generals are really strange. Anyways, let's take this army. It only got 1 howitzer though, so that's bad. and I can't really drag the ones that I have here, even though I would like to drag them over here because it's a lot easier to win sieges with howitzers just blasting away. But with that said, let's go ahead. I mean, there's a chance of us getting ambushed here. So why don't we, you know what, for safety's sake, we'll take a regiment of horse and move that just shy of the city, as to not get the city to be moved out to drag them in. And clearly no one wants to ambush this unit, so the rest of the army should be safe to advance. We had that disastrous ambush somewhere up here, so don't want to repeat that. So the Polish were able to... they weren't actually able to stop me from doing what I wanted, but they were able to hold me back for quite a bit of time. And let's have this one join in, and let's make sure the Warsaw is safe by moving this army in, and voila. All the Polish will be destroyed, so we don't have to deal with this full stack, we don't have to deal with these guys, we don't have to deal with this. Pretty good general, and that means that we only have the Ottomans coming towards Warsaw to worry about. I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna deal with them, since I don't really want to push further south. The thing is, I should have probably gone ahead and enabled more options in the diplomatic stuff, so I could actually give away territories, because what I would want to do is, since I don't really want all these territories, maybe if I take Hungary I can make it like a puppet state, or so to bring up Hungary as its own state, and then they can just be a buffer zone against the Ottomans. Same with this sort of area here. Really just want to give it over to the enemy, or to another state. If that's not possible, it would be nice to give it to the Austrians. I imagine I could take it, then leave it and let rebels take it, and then it becomes its own nation. But it really should be, once I liberate it, I should be able to just put it as a puppet for whatever, or yeah, make it as a puppet nation for me. With this said, let's go ahead and have this siege. I imagine that I'm gonna do this quite shortly. We're not gonna spend a lot of time on this siege, because I want to fight the Ottomans and see how they will fight, because they have a lot of melee troops that probably will just charge straight on us. So that'll be interesting to see. But without further ado, let's go ahead and break down Poland-Lithuania. Right, so the battle didn't really start off as I wanted. We can see my cavalry is being engaged down here, is fighting enemy cavalry. And that's because I should probably have expected this, since there was a high number of enemy cavalry units inside the city. But we've just lost one unit. That was... the enemy managed to shatter that one without much problem, really. I was a bit worried, as I said, about the cannon's position, but look at what a nice position I've got on this hill. We also have the hussars fighting over here. The enemy decided to put their artillery piece out here, but that one was destroyed. My hussars, however, are faring quite a bit better. Should be able to destroy this 10th regiment of horse. And now when my infantry has moved up on the hill, and the 5th Grenadiers in particularly have been able to put down fire upon the enemy, it looks as though we'll be able to smash these regiments of horse. And now when this regiment is about to fall, the hussars can come in and aid in a struggle against the enemy over here. However, as we can see, this regiment is still moving around, which I do not like. So I want those hussars moving as soon as possible. There we go, they're broken. Hussars, I want you over here as soon as possible. Oh, the enemy moving into the flank of this unit. We can imagine is going to charge these guys. The 7th Regiment of Foot. And yeah, I really like this hill. Take a look at this. Right, who decided to put the fort right there? You have a big hill there. You could have put the fort there. Isn't that like the #1 thing? Put the fort high up. They seem to be doing this a lot in Empire, where I guess they just put it somewhere, really. I mean, they could have put it here. Or here. But no, let's put it right here, where we've got one big hill, really close to it, right here. Another one there. So, ooh, shit. How did I lose that many men? I guess friendly fire. I hate cavalry and the fact that... I mean, the mod doesn't even really have squares. I don't imagine how you would be able to fight off enemy cavalry. So just absolutely overpowered. Well, let's see, where's my hussars? We do have one noble host moving around over there. Jesus Christ, that took a lot of them, which kind of breaks up my plan to go on the straight forwards here, but I guess 3 regiments is enough with this one in reserve. And then these guys can start slowly advance to this wall. The hussars are moving away, and the cannons are roaring, firing onto all this mess right here. Now I do want the howitzers, of course, to blast the men up on the wall, since they'll make perfect targets, like right there, probably killing thousands of men. But with that said, I really also want to clear off this, because we're gonna snipe cap it. We're gonna snipe cap this region, or snipe cap this area, as so not having a prolonged battle. So hopefully I'll be able to break those guys. These guys coming forward, hopefully dragging the enemy on more towards this wall, which will give me some nice bounce shots onto the enemy troops. And then we got these columns as well, dragging the troops towards here. This will probably take quite a bit more from the enemy. Okay, so let's see. It's a stupid general that's decided to move out of the fort for whatever reason. And my hussars are about to shoot these guys to pieces. Go on. Okay, you've done yours. I cut them down. Fighting has begun on these walls now. Ah, the enemy cavalry unit is moving out. It's gonna face these guys. Gonna hold fire. Oh, they're turning around, going for the hussars. These guys are ready. We'll tell them to strike at the wall. You know what? These two in column there. Then one on either side climbing up, taking the wall and making sure we hold it. Howitzers at this point don't really need to fire towards the cavalry, so why don't you fire through this mess. Hussars are getting shot to pieces from the wall, and the European bodyguard, or the general's unit, is actually holding on. We'll fall back and then we'll shoot him down. My regiments are now climbing the wall. These guys, mostly just to, as I've explained in previous siege battles, mostly just there to hold. Ho ho! Just ripped right through there. So mostly just to hold the enemy on the wall. I want to see some good howitzer shots coming in to this mess right here. Absolutely just blasting these guys. So we're climbing up on both sides here. Looks like these guys are not really gonna stop this unit, so that one's gonna move to capture the flag, while this one is gonna attack the militia regiment. Is the enemy gonna come out through the gate? If so, I'll just shoot him down. And there we go, the wall is ours. Well, that enemy general is just on the door. I kind of want him to die before I go ahead and go inside. Go ahead and charge. You know what? Charge in. Get that. Get this castle for me, and then these 3 units can scale these walls. So the more siege battles I play, the better I become at it. As we can clearly see here, this really worked very well for me compared to other sieges. And just that little time I had in the beginning fire on this area, look at the amount of casualties that we've caused on the enemy. This battle is not even 15 minutes and I've already been able to blast the enemy to shit. Oh, they managed to actually put a regiment in the center. This unit is actually shaken, which I don't like. But I'm pretty sure we'll be able to send this one off as soon as the general dies. This door is open, so the hussars could ride to here and get through and aid in taking the walls. 5th Grenadiers charge the wall. 30th Foot will charge the wall. We're bouncing shots through here, murdering the enemy. Howitzer shots, blowing them to bits. And soon enough, more and more of my troops will turn up. Ah, look at that. Is that the enemy general? Silly bastard. Let's see if we can ride up quickly. Shoot and kill him, which should cause quite the morale drop on the enemy. But no, more or less everyone around him. So the bodyguard certainly made... Well, they did what they were supposed to protect the general. So the general is still there, he's fighting in the center. Him moving away probably actually saved the 33rd Regiment from getting broken there, and that would have changed the fight in the center. I want the 30th Regiment to move in and capture the gate, so I can send in the 41st. And with that, it looks as though it's over. A lot of these are already shaking. If I can get my hussars into the flank here, possibly shoot for the general, we could definitely see this battle being over. So why don't you take a position like that and then fire at will. Maybe shooting at the square seems unnecessary, but we just did that anyways. Come on, capture this gate. The gate is ours. That means that this regiment can come through, bayonet charge in the back of this, and it's all over. We have some problems with the regiments fighting on the wall. Let's just take away the guard mode. Unrestricted bayonet warfare on the walls. And the general has moved away and is now over here. See if we can chase him down. Enemy general killed. Bayonet charge going in for the center. The unit in the center is now attacked from both sides by a superior number of troops. which are both superior in number and in skill. And we can see most of the enemy units here not really doing well. This one, however, could have been for the fact that my cannons were actually friendly firing, shooting these guys down. So this regiment, the first regiment of foot apparently, was cut down more or less by my own men. And there's still one bodyguard unit. Oh, there goes the banner guy. We're still fighting off a few guys over there. Since you are not fighting anything, why don't you move over here and shoot that one down? These guys, the grenadiers on the wall, can go ahead and continue towards cleaning up this wall. Run to your position. Hussars. Both hussars are not actually needed anymore, so we can send them out. And why am I not capturing the flag just yet? Boom! The little square took a heavy shot, and we're... So what you might have noticed was that we crashed during that battle. And, well, here is my basically second attempt. Somehow the fort ended up in a completely different area. And we don't have the nice hill on this side. However, I was able to take the fort. Not entirely sure if I did it better this time around. But I might very well have. It's hard to say though. Still, lots and lots of dead Polish guys. Let's go ahead and end the battle and see if we can't fight the Ottomans in this episode. Decisive victory, very nice. And here we have the statistics. I lost 1,300 men while the enemy lost everything. However, of those everything that lost 5,000, I killed 4,600 during the actual battle. Highest killer was the howitzer, not surprisingly. It killed 1/5 of the enemy force at 1,250. Kind of neat how it ended up at such a nice number. And boom! Poland is unfortunately gone. This unfortunately opens up a second front on the Ottomans, so I have to march towards Klausenburg, Transylvania next, I guess, with this army. It possibly also open up a front against Moldavia, which I have no interest in conquering, and hopefully the Moldavians have no interest in actually fighting us. They're friendly. Let's get a peace or a trade agreement going. Sure, even though... Why would I pay to trade with such a little shit country, but... to keep the peace, we'll... Industrial Revolutionary and Tactician. What does he have? He has some mines, so I guess we can buy and sell some iron. Well, Swedish iron was exceptionally well, or exceptionally good at this time. I guess grain could be bought from this region. To supplement my army. First of all, burn down these Catholic churches. Not entirely sure I will have a military barracks here. Seems silly because I have quite close. We have a proper center of recruitment and so forth, and it might be easy to hold down the area with like a normal governor's palace. So we'll actually torch this and build a governor's palace instead. Go ahead and replenish the troops. Same for this army. There are no more offensive maneuvers taking place. I'm moving this army to take place here, as if the Russians were attacking at some point further on, we can march on that fortress right there. I've got this army right there going for this one if Russia declares war. Mostly I'm just waiting for them to declare war because everyone's part of these massive alliances that all will just help whoever gets attacked. But no, so as long as the enemy attacks me, I can count on it only being the attacking nation that joins. Which is kinda nice. Right. Let's see. Well, there's nothing more to do, so let's go ahead and end turn and see what the enemy got in store for us, and hopefully we can draw into battle against the Ottomans. And, well, the Ottomans definitely don't disappoint. The bathrobe-clad man decides to attack, and... well, even though a lot of his units are 400 men strong, they don't actually have that many more men than I do. They do, however, have some nasty artillery. But we also have some nasty artillery to fire back at them. Interesting battle as we defend Warsaw against an Ottoman force under the command of Kismet Anvi. Without further ado, let's draw into battle, shall we? Right, and so the battle is off. We've got quite a few Ottomans moving forwards. The thing was, I was planning for them all to come in through the gate, which I'm not entirely sure they will do, because their army actually starts over here. I'm still hoping that it kinda looks like the Ottoman forces are actually moving towards the gate. We've got Janissary musketeers. We've got the Bashi bazooks, and so forth. And it looks like, even though they started over here, it looks like they're all moving towards this one hole in the wall. Oh, look at that. They're actually trying to climb over here. We don't like that, do we? So I've got my hussars. And why don't we, as the enemy tries to climb, shoot them in the back? I've got the 3rd Grenadier Regiment holding this part of the wall. And I'm pretty sure they will be able to hold against these guys as long as there's reinforcements on the way. And with the hussars coming this close, should be able to... oh, these are grenadiers. Janissary grenadiers. That could be dangerous. Possibly. But with this rather nasty flank shot coming in, the grenadiers are quite concerned. Let's just make sure that... let's see, are they coming through the gate? Yes, they're back, or through the opening. We're gonna hold fire with these 2 regiments. And we're gonna hold the canister fire for a bit. Gotta keep an eye on what's going on here. These guys seem to be handling themselves. They're not climbing anywhere else. So... let's unleash hell. Ah, yes. Why don't you... slightly retarded artillery pieces. Go ahead and try to fire into the wall. Do not leave your battery. Get back on your batteries. And at this point, keep pushing canister shot down range. Right, so that's going well. The Ottomans are coming in through the gate. The Hussars have dealt with these guys. So we can retreat back to safety. I'll send a smaller cavalry unit out to charge these guys down. Hussars, hold your fire, as I don't want you to shoot your own men. And we've got amazing killing zone right here. Oh shit. I would not want to be the Grenadiers stuck in this building right here with so many Ottomans trying to get at that place. However, as we can see, didn't go too well for the Ottomans, did it? And let's make sure these Ottomans do not return either. Right, so all the infantry units, I guess, is dead. And now it's just the Ottoman cavalry. I didn't even get to use my howitzers in the fort. Right, charge down the infantry units. I don't want to see a single enemy infantry unit alive. Right, hold your fire right there. Hussars, why don't you shoot on the enemy as you chase them down? Probably pretty nice. And right, now I need to somehow get all these stupid cavalry units. Oh, these guys are actually moving. I guess I just need to ride close enough to them to get their attention. And with that, this cavalry unit will make it inside the fort for protection. And I would like to see how the enemy cavalry decides to handle this. I mean, the battle would really be over because they don't have anyone to climb the walls, but as we know, there's a big hole in the wall, so the enemy can still get through. And ooh, the Ottoman units retreating has been utterly murdered by the Hussars. More or less nothing out of those few hundred men that was were retreating were absolutely destroyed. Now some of these Anatolian whatever, he's got some really strange headgear, doesn't he? Probably pretty good cavalry as well. Dangerous stuff. Wait, did that cannon just somehow manage to fire all the way over there? Let's see, can my howitzers... can they blast these guys over here? I don't know. We'll have to use our hussars and try to force the enemy to come to us. We've got some cavalry over here. Ah, yes, nice. My howitzers are able to fire out here into whatever this is. Delhi horsemen and more Delhi horsemen. Probably quite dangerous because they're able to fire from horseback, and there's a lot more of them than there are of my 2 units of hussars, and I want these guys alive because I need to wake up these horsemen and also the enemy horsemen over here. But it looks like they're right now they just want to fire at the grenadiers up on the wall, which seemingly my howitzers also want to do. Taking some shots here. We're about to return some shots. And then before the enemy is able to respond, we charge in with swords drawn and send the unit off. Let's get rid of this one as well. Well, I think at this point we know where this battle is going, so I'll stop the recording here and then we'll jump into the aftermath of the battle. Probably would have been nicer to meet these Ottomans in open field battle. But with that said, I was about to do the speech I always do when I end the episode, but I'm not going to end it right here, am I? So yeah, I'll see you back on the campaign map. And here we have our victory against the Ottoman. They were smashed against the walls of Warsaw. Only 570 men of ours were killed or lost. However, quite a lot of those were friendly fire. About 170 of them, as the enemy was only able to kill about 40. However, our army is intact. The Ottoman army, not so much, with only 740 men left. Highest killers was hussars, followed by the life guard, followed by another hussar, and then the Queen's infantry. The howitzers... Let's see, my cannons didn't actually do that much, even though they probably did some cool canister shots. Right. This is in the end turn, so we'll let it go run through before I end this video and take a look at what the situation is. The Ottomans it's still their turn to move their troops around, so maybe they're going to threaten some other area of the front line. And here we have the end of turn. It looks as though the Ottomans are not going to go ahead and threaten any other part of my line. For some reason they decided that all new recruits of priests are going to be put as far away as possible. Back in the backwaters of Norway. No one wants to be there, so they need to be over here. Making sure to change. Ah, nice. Seed planting drill. Ukraine is on strike. Agent detected. I guess that's not our... It was our agent that was detected, I guess. New schools. Nice. Common laborer. Common command when besieging. Wasn't he just besieged? Let's go ahead and up this. 25 more men. This should start to be built. Let's see. They're pretty unhappy in this region. If I exempt them from tax, they'll be pretty happy. And also, it's about 4 ways, or 4 days away, to a new city emerges, which is nice. Right, so hopefully we'll stay at peace with these guys, since I don't want more war than necessary. We'll see about going against the Ottomans and creating some buffer zone process, probably by letting these regions rebel and become their own, and then ally with them, maybe pushing forwards to Belgrade or something. It would be nice to just attack through the Ottoman territory and then basically creating all these smaller nations, so you could create Serbia, the Greeks, Hungary, and so forth. Creating all these smaller nations that I can trade my African goods to. Even though African goods, I think if I remember correctly, the prices of African goods have fallen quite drastically by 10 shillings or whatever. It was 48, wasn't it, before? Now it's 38. Probably go into spice trade instead. But I think the prices of the slaves, or some of these, were dictated by the different kinds of buildings that were built in Europe. So the more sort of high-end castles and stuff, that meant that the demand for these products were increased. Even though it doesn't really say that, but I think it was something like that. And or technology or something, that it would increase the demand of it, so sort of to keep the prices somewhat equal. Probably might want to switch then over the trade to spices, or at least one of my trading navies, because it turns out that just putting them ships into these areas does not actually allow me to trade it. So you need the trade ships to actually go there. So we'll see if I can move. I've got 3 of these trade navies. We can take a sizable chunk out of that and send it to trade in spices, which would be over here, I think. We have a few with Genoa and Venice over here. We also have quite... maybe this is why. Could this be that the Knights of St. John are trading in slaves? Because they just entered the slave trade. A full navy here on the coast. And would that be slaves you're trading, Knights of St. John? That might account for the fall in price. So we want to switch that from slaves to spices, or we could sink the St. John Navy, the Knights of St. John. Who are you allied with? Could be an expedition to sink those bastards. They are allied with Spain, France, Malta, and Papal States, so no chance there. Antoine the First. He kind of reminds me of someone, but who? Oh, look at that! The Spanish have actually got a new king, so that probably could turn the favor of the war. You know what? It kind of looks like it has turned the favor in North America. Let's go over to North America, shall we? Kind of has turned the favor. So the British were almost down here. So the Spanish have retaken this, and they've launched an attack on Texas, cutting the English in half. And we've seen that the English have not been able to subdue these territories of natives. So there could be a possibility of invading English territories and seizing a lot of that trade, because I'm pretty sure England is the biggest trade nation because of just all the trade they've got coming out of here. Very nice indeed. We can turn the war around. I also kind of want to do an Indian expedition, but at this point the Maratha Confederacy has been able to take over all of India, so that seems very unlikely. The thing that we could do is take this from the Dutch, because they ain't much. And you know what? We would get a sizable bit of... what's this? This is tea and gems to be able to sell. And that could also be a port towards the spice trade. What do you get for gems? Gems are not here, so I guess that's just like a mine. Yes, it is. But tea. Which one of these is tea? I don't know. I guess tea is not a tradable commodity. Oh, no, it's not tea. It's cinnamon. Cinnamon. Cinnamon is not that highly sought after. But it's a tradable resource, and cinnamon coming to Sweden would be a nice addition to expand the prestige of my empire. With this said, however, it looks as though we are holding the enemies at bay at this point, and it's about time we smashed the Prussians. We'll see at what point I will end this campaign, if I'll go ahead and stop once I have completed my destiny to rule over the Baltic Sea entirely by enveloping it, or if I want to go for a higher ambition to make a more lasting empire by building a colonial empire. That would be interesting if I would take over the place of England, and then instead of instead of having sort of at this time, or sort of fast forward to 2018, that everyone, instead of learning English as a second language, would be learning Swedish. That would be weird. A lot of Swedish TV. They'll do it in Trollywood. All the movies come out of there and weird stuff. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!